I'm sorry. I'm trying to quit the replying. People go off of our comment section.
Yeah.
Not that I understand that at all. I'm sure I don't even understand a thousandth of what he's done with. But I was thinking about that just today. Like you can become obsessed with the reply you got because people can be pretty brutal.
Hey everybody, I'm Chris.
And I'm Brett.
We're back with another Pastors React to NF. The seasoned pastor. I'm the young youth pastor. I'm not that young.
Young and vibrant and just on his way up.
That's me. And so last week we reacted to intro number 2.
Is that what that was? Okay.
Off the Therapy Sessions album. And so we're going to continue now with Therapy Sessions. Our therapy session is one.
Therapy. Okay, it's called Therapy Session.
Yeah,
that's the name of the song. Cool.
But this is kind of his dark days, I would say. So buckle up.
It's off to a start anyway. I think I may have heard this somewhere in my distant past. Because I think my son, this is the one he played for me. Probably this has been several years ago. So
okay,
but I think I forgot most of it too. It does say images may be disturbing to some viewers.
Yeah, so
I might be one of them.
The following image and our content may be disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. So this is a rough video, we'll say. So if you start crying, I didn't bring.
So
tissues.
You've seen it.
It's been a while.
Okay, but you know it's rough. You know that much about it.
Yeah, because I looked it up again and watched the beginning. I was like, oh, yeah.
Right.
This is viewer discretion is advised. That's what it says. So we'll jump into Therapy Session by NF. So, but do you remember this, though? You said you've heard it.
I just remember. I think I did hear it. I won't remember it, but it feels like the name rings a bell. And yeah.
Okay. Well, let's go.
At some point.
Yeah, I got upstate like a month ago. I was talking to fans and one of them pulled me aside and said we never met, but I swear that you know who I am. I've been through a lot. I don't know how to express it to people. Don't think that I can, but I got that Mansion CD on rotation. That's real for me, Nate. You do not understand. It's crazy for me. Kids hit me up, say they slitting their wrists on the daily. This music is more than you think. Don't book me for just entertainment. It's entertaining. Hearing these parents, they telling their kids my music is violent. You gotta be kidding me. I guess that your definition of violence in mine is something that we look at differently. How do you picture?
I was gonna stop it there too.
Yeah. Well, I thought you had something. That's why I stopped.
Okay.
No.
That was just very impactful because that whole line, they say my music's violent, but we have a different definition of that because I got kids coming to me. It's just the whole setup, and again, and I'm not remembering any of it. I do think I heard it, but that was a very powerful line in the sense that maybe what parents are concerned about on one level is not what kids are concerned about on another level, and they're able to speak that stuff to him, and that's very powerful and also really, really sad, obviously.
Yeah, and the imagery, I mean, it looks like this is a perfect family. They've all got their masks on, and it's just like you don't see their emotion and stuff. But then you see NF sitting with the kid he said, I've got kids that tell me they're slitting their wrists daily, like they're cutting themselves to feel something, and yet in their family they have to look good and all this stuff. And the parents like, oh, your music's violent. And he's like, no, my music's actually helping people where you're not really paying attention to the issues.
Yeah, because you're not able to relate, and it breaks my heart for parents, obviously, and just having been a parent, of course, having been a teenager, I can understand because my parents loved me, I respected them, and all that, but there was a chasm between our worlds that was a little hard to cross.
Yeah. And I remember, I mean, I worked in youth ministry for many years, and I remember when there's a parent that one time came in with her son and was very upset because he was listening to Christian hardcore music. It was like screaming stuff, and she's like, listen to that. That just sounds like the devil. And I was like, what do you think it sounds like to him? And he's like, well, here's the lyrics. And it was like very God-honoring lyrics and stuff, but they just scream it and stuff. And she's like, well, it sounds bad. And like, and that kid has walked away from the faith. And I'm like,
oh my goodness,
was this the hill you die on? Like, I always appreciated my parents growing up because my mom would listen to lyrics with me on songs and stuff like that, and like to have discussions. And so it was good. So engage with your kids in this stuff. And so they're like, oh, this music's violent. And like, well, it's helping them in some way. So.
Yeah, and even if you see things wrong with it, you could bring out, it is good to arrive at those conclusions and think it through, or get them to converse about it, and maybe they're seeing things that you don't, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I guess that your definition of violence in mine is something that we look at differently. How do you picture me? I want me to smile, you want me to laugh, you want me to walk in the stage with a smile on my face when I'm mad, and put on a mask for real though. I mean, what you expect from me? I'm trying to do this respectfully. They say that life is a race. I knew my problems would probably catch up eventually. I do my best to be calm. How you gonna write me and tell me you slaughter my family? That's just a glimpse of the stuff that gets said to me. These are the parts of my life that I'll never see. I am a
That's a rough line.
Yeah, you might say that. It's a little rough. It's disturbing, and I think I should use discretion. Yeah, watching it. Yeah.
Well, but I mean, but like people write him, and you hear this like to pop stars and to like famous people and stuff like that. People write very mean things to them, like, "Oh, I can't believe you did this," or "I hate you," and like, "I'm going to slaughter your family." Like, it's like what, like, there's that barrier, right, of the internet, like where you feel like you can say whatever. Like in the comments sometimes. No, but that's one of those things, right? Like when you put yourself out there, people do say things that are like, would you say that
really
if I was...
what's the Mike Tyson quote? Too many people have gotten used to saying things on the internet that in the past they would have got punched in the face for.
Yeah. But
so, some of that going on, yeah.
Also, I do like the imagery of him, like, having this therapy session with himself. Like he's the therapist over here, but he's also the brooding NF in his black clothes that he normally wears to show his darkness and stuff. And then the drawing the smile on the face, that becomes part of his act. Like he draws a smile on his face. Like so that's part of his stage presence, or it used to be until the Hope album, I think. So
now I didn't have to draw the face anymore.
Yeah, these are parts
there
in my life that you'll never see. So it's like you don't, and I think he's saying like people judge me, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like, I'm writing this stuff because it's like it's cathartic. It's a therapy session for him to write these things because people are saying, "I'm going to slaughter your family. I'm going to like all this stuff."
And I'm almost positive that is what my son was showing me, and I feel like he was telling me about that there's this guy, he's telling me about this is really raw and he's really honest and really transparent about, and it was good for him because what he was going through, especially when you're going through your teenagers, your emotions are so up and down. They're so extreme at both ends of the spectrum, and you can relate to that. But I can see why it scares parents if you've never seen it before. Something about slaughtering family and drawing things, and
it's a parental advisory on
it's a little, should my kid be into this? I'm not sure. It's a little hard to get in tune.
My life they don't never see. I am aware it's aggressive. I am not here for acceptance. I don't know what you expected, but what you expect when you walk in a therapy session.
I like that choir.
And told me her life's full of drama. Said her dad is abusive, apparently he likes to beat on her mama. I got so angry inside, I wanted to tell her to give me his number. But what you gonna do with it, right? You gonna hit him up, then they'll start hitting her harder, that's real. These kids, they come to my shows with tears in their eyes. Imagine someone looking at you and saying your music's the reason that they're alive. Sometimes I don't know how to handle it. This type of life isn't glamorous. This ain't an act for the cameras. You see me walk on these stages, but have no idea what I'm dealing with after it.
Yeah, and this is part of the NF real music. It's like him saying, man, here's what I deal with, and here's the real issues of life that I talk about, and then that's what connects with the people. Because like he said, somebody coming to you and saying, hey, the reason I'm still alive is because of your music. He's like, how do you deal with that? He's like, so
on one hand, that's great. On the other hand, I've got quite a responsibility there that really I have to shoulder.
And you feel that dichotomy. He's like, you don't have any idea what I'm dealing with after this, because he has his own things that he deals with. And so to have that pressure of, well, I've got to write this music so that people stay alive. And then it's just that ongoing, like, okay, I want to be real, but I have to live my life. And it's difficult at times.
But it's also the old thing of this sense in which if you're real, people will identify with you, and I think that's because we've kind of had the debate back and forth of how Christian is he? Which I still don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of church he goes to or anything, or if he does, or what his actual faith statement is. But it speaks volumes that sometimes Christian stuff kind of wants to tie things up in a bow and kind of give simple answers, but kids are identifying with this because it's sort of this puke out kind of real stuff, and even dealing obviously with the issue of suicide and everything else.
Or cutting,
because there's something you get therapy by knowing you're not alone and feeling the same exact things, and I think that's why kids are telling him that, like, hey, you get me. You're saying things I want to say in a way that I can't even say myself.
Yeah.
And we've said that about the Psalms before, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They help you articulate.
Shout out to the Psalms.
Yeah.
I put it all in the open. This is the way that I cope with all my emotion. I'm taking pictures with thousands of people, but honestly, I feel like nobody knows me. I'm trying to deal with the pressure. I'm trying to deal with the pressure. How you gonna tell me my music does not have a message when I'm looking out at this crowd full of people I know are affected?
Oh, yeah, he said, I'm dealing with my own stuff. What was that line?
Yeah.
How you going to tell me? Let's see, where was it? Yeah, honestly, he said, I've taken pictures with thousands of people, but honestly, I feel like nobody knows me. And that's kind of the dichotomy of like being a pop star or being a actor or something like that. Like, because a lot of times comedians, I mean, Robin Williams, like people that commit suicide or Owen Wilson attempted, like, you're like, oh, these are funny people. But a lot of times it's like they're hiding their emotions, like nobody really understands me, or I can't turn off this funny side of me because people don't want that. They come for the funny. And so it's like
and most of them talk about they'll do their act, but then they kind of stand alone inside the club and no one talks to them, and they don't talk to anybody, and they live lives of loner because they're individuals traveling from town to town. They're actually lonely, and they're the life of the party, but they're not even a part of the party, which is kind of interesting dynamic. And he has the same thing.
Like it's like I'm taking pictures with all these people, but honestly I don't feel like anybody
he
knows
doesn't really
me.
truly know any of them, and they don't know him.
Yeah, I'm trying to deal with the pressure, trying to deal with depression. Like he's like, I'm trying to deal with all these things, but I don't know how to deal with them in a way that like is positive or honest. And he's like, and I'm dealing with them by writing my music. That's what his therapy session is, to like clear his mind and to feel good about himself or whatever. But then it's almost like feeds back into, now I've got to go perform this for people, and then they like me, and then but I got to keep doing it. And so it's that like ongoing cycle. Yeah.
Does not have a message when I'm looking out at this crowd full of people I know are affected. I got some things in my life I know I should let them go. Let me jot it down. Let me take a mental note. I'll put it all on this microphone. Think about that for a minute. What is the point of this song I'm just venting? But what you expect from a therapy session? Therapy session. That doesn't worry me. I know I handle some things immaturely. I know that I need to grow in maturity. I ain't gonna walk in.
A little shot just kind of broke my heart. That is kind of disturbing.
The girl
just going through that, because you don't realize how much your own actions are affecting those around you, and especially a man and a woman, husband and a wife, going through that and what they're doing to their kids. And that's
in these stages in front of these people and act like I live my life perfectly. That doesn't work for me. Christian is not the definition of what perfect means.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Christian is not the definition of what perfect means. That's a good line.
What people have to understand is it's really not. I remember hearing one therapist say one time that the reason that groups like AA and those groups work because you have a seat at the table because of your weakness, not because of your strength. And he said churches are actually supposed to be that way. What you have in common is your weakness, not your strength. Yeah. And I think that's what he's getting at. And that's why people identify it, though. Hey, this guy's showing his weakness, so I relate to it, and I'm in, and I'm not alone anymore, and it can help me kind of process through. Where if he presented himself like always awesome and always wonderful and all that, they wouldn't relate to him.
Well, yeah, and God says, my power is made perfect in your weakness. And so it's like they get to see the power of God because of our weakness and what not what we've overcome, but what Christ has overcome in us to make us better and more like him. And so, and we think, oh, I have to put on this facade as a Christian, like I have to be good all the time and all this stuff. And like, that's not, like, the definition of perfect isn't Christian. It's Actually, it's the broken.
Well, exactly.
That's what
That is the image, the cross and everything else. That's the image itself. But we forget that sometimes, and we instead we go the other way with it.
Yeah.
I ain't the type to be quiet. I ain't gonna sit here in silence if I wouldn't say what I say to your face. And I promise you I wouldn't say it in private. I am not lying. People go off on my page and I'm trying to quit the replying. But this is ridiculous. I'm passionate, man. I really mean.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to quit the replying. People go off of our comment section.
Yeah.
Not that I understand that at all. I'm sure I don't even understand a thousandth of what he's done with. But I was thinking about that just today. Like you can become obsessed with the reply you got because people can be pretty brutal. You're ugly and all that sort of stuff. But and you can obsess over that.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just kind of ignore it.
I'm trying to quit the reply. Yeah. It's like, I haven't done it, but I'm trying.
Awake at night. Well, I'm going to tell this guy this or that, the other thing.
It is true.
You're getting the whole world looking at you, and somebody from down in Louisiana that you've never met before can tell you, can slam on you somehow. It's kind of interesting.
But this is ridiculous. I'm passionate, man. I really mean what I'm writing. Yeah, I keep it 100. Okay, I'll keep it 100. I see a whole lot of talking on socials, but honestly, I don't see nothing in public. I kind of love it, yeah. Why don't you write us some happy raps? That would be awesome. All of your music is moody and dark, nay. Don't get me started. You wanna know what it's like if you met me in person? Listen to my verses. This music is not just for people who sit in the pews and pray at the churches. Nah, I don't reject it. I don't expect everyone to respect it. I don't expect you to get my perspective, but what you expect from a therapy session.
That's good.
Do you think he's responding to? Is it like Christian people that are kind of there's sort of this vibe that you're a Christian, but you're dark and you're moody and
well, yeah.
You think he's,
so because when the first album came out, I remember Mansions, like it was in a box of like CDs I got from being a youth pastor. It was like a thing that I was a part of, a subscription service that we got CDs. This was back a long time ago.
Yeah, I'd say.
But CDs were a thing. But it was, and so this was music we were playing in the church and stuff. So I think when parents would, I don't remember any time a parent came to me like, why are you playing this? But if a kid liked it, and it was, really it was the only, like, the Christian alternative to Eminem, because Eminem was a great rapper that, like, people really gravitated towards. And so this was something finally comparable to that level and that skill and that kind of thing that people kind of gravitated towards. But then they're like, parents listened to it, like, what? He's talking about killing and like suicide, he wasn't your typical Christian rapper like DC Talk or whatever,
right? Yeah. So he is reacting to some of that, and he's just saying, hey, it's how I'm getting my.
What was that line about the
else? Like
who sit in the pew and pray at the churches? Like, he's like, my music's not just for that. Like and that's to his credit, he's done that. Like, he's very much reached outside of just the Christian bubble and really connected with people.
Yeah, and that's why the shot of the girl that's behind the couch, kind of rocking back and forth is so powerful, because that is what he's speaking to. It's not just people in church pews, even though that girl could be in a church pew. She knows that this stuff is going on at home, and so it's for her, and that is very powerful, and he can reach her because he's being honest.
Yeah.
Expect everyone to respect it. I don't expect you to get my perspective, but what you expect from a therapy session.
I think sometimes people, they confuse what I'm doing. I write about life. I write about things that I'm actually dealing with. Something that I'm actually experiencing. This is real for me. Like, this is something that personally helps me as well. I'm not confused about who gave me the gift. God gave me the gift, and he gave me the ability to do this, and he also gave me this as an outlet. And that's what music is for me. When I feel something, whether it's anger, it's a passion about something, a frustration, like, this is where I go. That's the whole NF Real Music thing, man. This is real for me. I need this. This is a therapy for me.
Well, there you go. That's yes, and
End
I
on that.
do remember it now with that last part. I can remember all those years ago. My son played that for me, but he was saying, "I get this guy gets me, I get him," and it was helping him at a time in his life with he was probably 17 years old and was dealing with all the upheavals that that age in life deals you, and so I was happy for it. I remember at the time.
Yeah, because it connects with people in a way that
Absolutely.
other stuff doesn't. So
connecting your weaknesses.
well, I think that's kind of the end.
I think
Yeah,
it is. So remember, we have other channels going on with the Next Gen, where
a podcast there.
the podcast over there, and also other things on our channel. So and also hit like and subscribe if you don't mind. That'd be that's awesome and very helpful. So
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Well, tell us what we should react to next. We might veer from NF a little bit.
Oh yeah,
We'll come back
I'm
because
up for it.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.